9th, 2009, and we're here at the entrance to Borderfield State Park, which is a California state park located at the very southwesternmost part of the United States. And we'll be huddling up and then hiking out to the beach here shortly. And overlooking the beach is a famous park called Friendship Park that's right on the international border and is a historic meeting place where families from San Diego and Tijuana have gathered for generations to visit with each other through the border fence. People gather there if they're separated by immigration status. Maybe somebody in the United States is waiting immigration hearings and can't return to Mexico, or maybe there's somebody who's here on conditions of residency that don't allow them to return to Mexico. And they have family members in Mexico who can't come into the United States. So this is a place where these kinds of families have been able to get together. And on a typical summer weekend, you'd see dozens of families sitting down on top of that last seaside mesa, or even down on the beach and eating together through the fence, sharing a picnic meal, flying kites. So we're heading out there this afternoon to celebrate communion. Every day is different and we don't quite know what to expect, but if the pattern holds, we would be approached at some point by Border Patrol and told that we're not permitted to go up on top of Monument Mesa, that it's now a construction zone, that it's unsafe to be there, and that the public is not permitted. That may or may not happen. If it does happen, a number of us are committed to pursue, to just carry on. We intend to serve communion right there at the monument on top of Monument Mesa, Friendship Park, as we've been doing for many, many months, and as families have been gathering at this place for generations. I wish I could detail for you precisely what consequence this act of civil disobedience would entail. I'm not a lawyer, and so I want to issue that disclaimer. We're led to believe that there are possibilities that we would be cited. Another possibility is that we would be charged with trespassing on federal property. Those are the best guesses of lawyers that I've consulted with, and so you should be aware that if you decide to carry on up onto the mesa with us, that might be a possibility. Last Sunday was the first time that we were specifically asked to leave. So a Border Patrol agent, very professional and courteous, approached us and told us that we were not permitted to be here. We told him we were aware of that we were staying anyway, and we went ahead and celebrated communion as we have been doing for the last 6 months. So we don't know exactly what today holds in store. Technically, we're not supposed to be there. Technically, though, we're not supposed to pass anything through the fence either. They tell us that's a customs violation. So we're doing a number of things that, out of principle and conscience, that right now we're not supposed to do according to the law.
Viene aquí su familia, ¿no? Su esposa, que me puede decir que
mi esposa vive en San Diego y yo fui deportado hace 5 meses.
Si nos prohíben el acceso, vamos a regresar aquí a la playa para celebrar aquí. Pero ahorita vamos al monumento si quieren acompañarnos. Bienvenidos, Our immigration policy makes no distinction between a place like this that was dedicated for the purpose of international friendship and any other place along the U.S.-Mexico border. Our government is committed to building walls and more walls and more walls, no matter what the nature and the character of the place. So this is the great tragedy of our immigration policy. It's the great tragedy of Friendship Park, and why Friendship Park has become such a symbol for so many of us. Tell me your name. Kelly, the body of Christ broken. We're going to have to go out of Christ shed for you.
The Border Patrol and DHS had an official meeting with Congressman Susan Davis on January 6th. And up until that point, we'd gotten very little information from the Department of Homeland Security about what their plans were. But we were given access at one point to a blueprint plan of the park and what they had in mind for the park. And at that time, they had told us that they were going to create the fence and build a little gate into the fence so that the public would retain access to this park, because they are aware that this park was dedicated by Pat Nixon in 1971 as a park that was specifically for friendship between Mexico and the United States. And I know they're aware of that. On January 6th, they made an announcement during this border tour with Susan Davis that they were no longer planning to have public access to the park.
You know, I never know. You never know. So I've learned to never be surprised one way or the other about what gets communicated from Border Patrol. I think they're on, you know, the ground is sort of shifting beneath their feet too. They're sort of making up this new policy as they go along. So, you know, week by week, we've gotten very different interpretations of events from the different agents.
It's now on its way of being bisected by three walls. But the spirit of Friendship Park continues, and the efforts of Reverend John Fannisdale is a good example to support.
We're offering a kind of counter-narrative, I guess you could say, that there are people who've been coming here for generations, families and people coming on the weekends, friends, peacefully coming together to enjoy the park for peaceful purposes. And what we hear from Border Patrol and what we hear continuously in the media is that this is a site of danger. This is a spot where drug dealers and human traffickers use regularly to commit crimes. And as you can see, that's not the case. And when I've been out here, I've never seen that. And I've been out here a lot. I spend a lot of time out here during the week, weekdays, weekends, evenings, and it's not a dangerous place.
Do you have any thoughts about the upcoming change from Bush to Obama, and like any hopes for the future in terms of this spot here?
Well, you know, I wish I had more hope, you know, but border communities have been devastated by Democratic and Republican administrations. It was the Clinton administration that launched Operation Gatekeeper. It was the Bush administration that perpetuated the war against migrants and the state of siege in border communities. I hope that with Obama we will have an opportunity to dialogue, to drive the message home that the border is not a place that needs to be militarized, that needs to be damaged and destroyed.
I think he's going to take on the economy first. I have a lot of hope in Janet Napolitano. I know that she has rational policies about the fence. I know she's got a lot of people in border states who she's listening to. Collins, for example, from Maine, has articulated a very similar kind of position that, you know, that there's a lot of complexity around these border regions and around border fences. There's a lot of multi-use going on. It's not simply a criminal enterprise standing next to a fence. And so I'm not sure.
There's a lot of other things on the plate, you know, for the incoming administration. So I have no illusion that it's going to be a rapid response or a quick remedy. But I am hopeful that somewhere in the coming months or within the first year of the administration that they might, you know, really do a fundamental revisit of the whole border enforcement policy, and that they would revisit plans to shut down, you know, places like this. So I'm optimistic, cautiously optimistic.
We need to ensure that that our message continues to be heard. And I hope that there will be a receptive ear in the White House, and that's the only hope that I have, really.
You know, it's a new political day, and that could mean that there's you know, the hopes that I have could happen. I really think that Friendship Park, I mean, most of the project is done. Friendship Park is kind of the last hope here, and I really think there is still hope for Friendship Park, even though they've demolished you know, a lot in the last couple of weeks. I think if we keep coming here, and it seems that DHS's strategy has been to let us do our thing and not create a big ruckus. So I think we're going to keep coming here, and either eventually it'll have to create a big ruckus, or they'll just let us keep coming here, and then the park will be open. So I'm hopeful about that.